Some unlikely war heroes are going on an epic treasure hunt in Monuments Men. Your movie friend Aaron Dicer here to tell us about it. And George Clooney. Enough said.
Yeah,
right?
that's about all you need to say. He directed this as well as acted in it. Was kind of the main role. And this is one of those movies that you look at and you go, okay, with all of these names, with Bill Murray and George Clooney and so many of these, Matt Damon and Cate Blanchett and all these big names, you know they were kind of mining for Oscar gold with this one.
Right.
And yet they didn't release it in the year that it would have been best released because they knew there were some real issues with this movie. And those issues do show up as you watch this movie. This is a movie that should have worked on so many levels and I think just doesn't at the end of the day.
What is it about exactly? Like what's
Well, okay, so there are these guys during World War II, and if you thought you'd seen every World War II angle, apparently Art Historian is one maybe you haven't seen. They are artists, they are people who, collect antiquities, those kind of things, and they actually become soldiers, go into the war, and try to save these pieces of art from Hitler. Hitler had collected and amassed all this collection of art and was going to destroy it if they thought they were losing the war, which obviously at some point they did. So it was their job to go in and decide, okay, how can we best save these sculptures and these paintings and things like that.
Okay, and always the most important question to me.
Yeah.
Is it based on a true story? Because if it's a true story, no matter what it's about, I love it.
Okay, yes. Well, then you love it. It's based on a true story and is as historically accurate as most movies that are based on true stories are. So that's to say there are some things they change, but overall, this really happened. These people really did go and do this.
Oh, yeah. Big names all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Bill Murray. Yeah, I mean, just lots of big names in this.
Now I'm knowing all these people.
Absolutely.
But you said it kind of doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the fact that I didn't invest in the stakes like they wanted me to. For me, a painting is not as valuable as a human life.
Right.
And they're putting lives on the line to save these historical paintings. Now I get, that they're artifacts and that they say something about our culture and they really tried to beat that into you throughout the movie. I just never bought it. And if you don't buy that, you don't buy the emotional stakes of the movie and you get kind of bored. Okay. So that's kind of where it lost me mainly.
All right, so best, worst, and overall then?
Sure, yeah, best thing I'd say Bill Murray. He's really, really funny in that. I didn't talk about the sense of humor this movie has. It really does have a good sense of humor. Bill Murray is a big part of that. As far as worst thing, it's what I just talked about, life versus art. I choose life, they choose art over their lives in this case. So, that just couldn't get with that. As far as overall grade, I'd say about a C.
All right, C.
Yeah. Yep.
Movie number 2. Take sound? None? Okay, sorry.
Activate helmet. Light sequence. Flame test. Engage dramatic entrance.
Bad cop. Lord business.
All right, that was my bad. So this one is Lego Movie by Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Animated comedy.
Yep.
And you liked it a lot.
Yeah, no, let's talk about this. This one, I was expecting this movie to be huge, okay? Because, first of all, the concept alone is incredible, and kids are going to love this.
Yeah.
It's a movie that looks like it was built with Legos. What I didn't expect was that I would go in, and it would be an amazing movie as well. They have hit
like what, plot line you mean? And
everything.
Like character development?
Yes, they have hit this movie out of the park on almost every level. The heart is there.
You
the
laughed and
story
cried?
is there. I laughed. I cried. The performances are there. Will Ferrell is amazing as President Business, I think is the name of his character. Chris Pratt, who you may know from Parks and Recreation, the television show, is the main guy, Emmett, and he's just this little average Lego guy, and he holds this special place in the story, and it's just this beautiful story of what imagination is and what purpose is. And I'm telling you, by the end of this movie, there's a turn at the end of this movie that I didn't expect, and I didn't think was going to work when I noticed what was happening. And it worked perfectly, and I was emotionally invested in what happened. It is a beautiful movie for both adults and children. I loved the Lego movie.
That's cool. Yeah. So we know you're going to give it an A+. So instead of asking you about that, did the style work for you since it is...
That's a great question because it is very different, and it's a very fresh thing to see a movie that's made of Legos. Now, I do believe it's computer generated, so it's not actually stop motion with Legos. They computer generated the animation, but it looks like it was done with Legos. And I think it works beautifully because there's this real clever sense of, oh, how do you do that with Legos? Oh, how do you make that happen with Legos? So there's this real cleverness to it, and also they're willing to kind of play on that a little bit. And I just, if you ever played with Legos as a child and kind of had that imagination of building things, oh my goodness, you are going to fall in love with this movie.
I loved Legos.
Yeah, and I've heard.
But I don't like math, and those two don't seem to jive, right?
I didn't notice much math in this movie. It wasn't something I wasn't doing algebra. So
well,
no.
you know, if you're a construction person.
Yeah.
Okay, so give us the best thing, worst thing, and overall.
Sure, let's do that. Best thing, building emotion. I think the emotion in this was perfect and came to exactly where it needed to give the heart and the message it wanted to give. Worst thing, I'd say if I had to find something, I'd say Lego Mania. And what I mean by that is this is a very manic movie.
Right.
It's very quick, and for some adults that may be a little much, you know,
But
especially in that first hour.
we forced you into the worst thing. You didn't want to choose that.
Yeah, no, there isn't really much worst thing here. Plus, people are laughing so much during this movie, you will miss some jokes. It's one of those movies you'll probably have to see a couple times because of the laughter.
Right.
As far as overall grade, yeah, it's an A.
A. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Lego movie, one to see. Thanks, Aaron.
Yep.
More at ky3.com from him. Meanwhile, Sweets for Your Suite coming up next. Jeremy Ray will help us finish up our Valentine puzzle picture frame. Super cute. Don't go away.